Sunday. Today we had a baptism in the briny waters of Southend-on-Sea. Siobhan was getting baptised and we all gathered at the beach side. I didn't recognise a lot of the people, which is strange because you think you know everyone because you go along to the small groups and you get to know them intimately. But I didn't know a lot of the people, so it's interesting, really interesting seeing all these people that are associated with Church from Scratch. Really good. Anyway, Peter explained a few things about baptism, then Siobhan went into the sea with Peter, and then whoever wanted to go in. So there were like 5 or 6 people baptising Siobhan. And then Peter asked a few questions of faith, and then he got everyone to say, "We baptise you in the name of the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit." We, the church. And then bosh, in the water, up again, and off for a barbecue, where we had a time of worship and a testimony and just mingled. It was baptism a la Church from Scratch. Monday. This evening I went along to one of the small groups, and we had a lovely big meal, and we looked at Philippians 3, we had some YouTube clips and another DVD to watch, and the mandatory big jigsaw piece puzzle to decorate, and we just discussed some of the issues that the passage threw up, and it was very powerful. But one of the most powerful things we did was we used wool and we wrapped it around our wrists or around ourselves, and each time we went round it was to represent something that we were struggling with or was binding us or holding us back from our walk with Jesus or from freedom in life. And then we prayed about this. We prayed for one another about these things, and then we would cut those things. I found that very powerful, and I think in a church where people often are struggling with some very real, deep-seated issues with their own demons, with these things that hold them back and oppress them and stop them from being free, it was very powerful, and almost, the physicality of it, very almost sacramental, I suppose, if you could talk like that, very, very spiritual, in a physical way. And I think that sums up something of the essence of Church from Scratch. Tuesday, Peter and I went to visit a guy for breakfast this morning who was struggling with an alcohol problem, and there are a lot of people in Church from Scratch who come from a background of involving that, or are in the middle of it now, and that's quite hard to watch. People struggling with these things, flicking between self-pity, denial, anger, despair, all these reactions against it, and that was quite hard. It's quite hard and harrowing. But when coming away from that, Peter said the more he works with people who struggle with addictions of an obvious sort, whether it be alcohol or drugs or abusive relationships or whatever, the more he realises that everyone has their addictions. Everyone craves a drug which will take away the pain of living, the responsibility of life, their own failure and shortcomings, whether it be success or romance or work or family or whatever it is. Things that we cling to, idols, and we're... Wednesday, we had went back to the homeless shelter, did some more sign language, and which Peter was teaching us, but the other guys from Church from Scratch, Kezia and Michael and myself, don't know sign language at all. And one of the things I like about that, which Peter pointed out to me, is it means you break down this us and them thing, that, we have something to give to you, we can teach you, we can give you something, impart something. Rather than that, it's about us learning together. And that means you get rid of the us and the them, and there's no boundary, and we're all together focusing on something else and learning something together, which is quite exciting, I think. Quite cool. So we have reached the end. And this is me signing off. I thought I'd finish by saying 5 words I think sum up Church from Scratch, and then say some of my hopes for the future. Word 1, real. I think Church from Scratch is real. It is frank, it's honest, it deals with real, meaty issues, and I think that's something that's very important and needs to stay the case. Second word, fluid. Church from Scratch has this wonderful structureless structure, which means that it can move and change and go with the flow. And I think that's something that a lot of churches would be jealous of, in the sense that they can manage change really well and go with what's happening.
Thirdly, Jesus-centred. I think Church from Scratch does the Jesus thing. It really focuses, it majors on Jesus' way of doing things. It's mission focused, it draws alongside people, it deals with people, real issues, it doesn't stand for religious nonsense, but it really gets to grips with people and where they stand with God. It does relationship, community, and that's fantastic. Fourthly, it is messy, in a good way. It's the good kind of messes. You can get those plaques, can't you, of a messy house. No, a tidy house is a sign of a wasted life, and I think Church from Scratch has that equivalent there. You know, a polite, a tidy, a well-organised, efficient church sometimes is a sign of wasted opportunities, a lack of engagement. And a Church from Scratch, which deals with messy situations, broken people, in a very real way, is the good kind of mess, is the glorious kind of mess. I think that's something really special. Fifthly, Southendish. Church from Scratch does church in the Southend way. It's relevant for people in Southend. It's relevant to its context, and I hope it stays that way. Yeah, my hopes. This is it. My hopes for the future. I hope Church from Scratch stays Church from Scratch. Isn't forced to become something it's not. Doesn't become institutionalised, but stays fresh on what it is. My hope is that people of Church from Scratch realise how much they have to offer the church, the wider church, people like me, and that they will realise that they have so much to offer, and that's exciting. I hope that Church from Scratch stays outward focused and missional. There's always temptation for groups to become, once they're established, to start becoming inward looking and self-sufficient, self-serving. But I hope that Church from Scratch continues with that sort of sense of outward lookingness, which I find so exciting about my time here. I suppose that's it. Thank you for having me, Church from Scratch. It's been a pleasure. See you around.